Hello again, and welcome to another episode of Brenda's Musings. So today I want to talk about family and friends and how we sort of knit together as a cohesive unit, or perhaps as a dysfunctional unit, depending on what day you're looking at. And how others fit into our lives. So, for example, I feel like the longer you've been together and the more history you have created together, the harder it is for somebody else to infiltrate that. And not that they are going to infiltrate in a horrible way, but somebody new comes into your family, and they start to realize fairly quickly, how much history there is behind you. And as they start to hear the stories, they start to understand, how it is that you're knit together, what joys you've experienced together, what trials and tribulations you've overcome together. And, it makes for a pretty cohesive family unit, generally speaking. Sometimes it has the opposite effect, but generally makes for a very cohesive family unit. And so, when somebody new comes in, it's them hearing these stories and understanding kind of the roles that people took, the kind of roles that people took part in making those stories. And then it's about creating their own stories within the family. It could be, a personality trait that just endears them to everybody. It could be, some funny story that happened that's recounted over and over again. It could be, a whole whack of different things. But, as they start to experience things with the family or with friends, then they become part of that group and they become accepted. And, yes, they don't have as long of a history, but they still have the stories. Because, as humans, we are storytellers. And that's kind of what binds us together. A lot of the stories that you hear are stories that are either fantastic, like how did that ever possibly happen, or are ones that bind you through the emotional ties of what happened. Maybe stories that you have sort of experienced, or stories that your family has experienced. Especially some of the older stories. And it's funny, I was looking at something, I think it was a comedy sketch or something on Facebook videos or something today. And it was said, you have all these stories about the generations gone by, right? Oh, so-and-so, look at this picture, that was your, great aunt so-and-so who did this, that, and the other thing, and this is how she's remembered, and she's written up in the, journals of whatever. And then, fast forward to today. Oh yes, that's a picture of the, the breakfast that I had last week, or that's the picture of your, grandmother's, shoes that she was thinking about buying, or whatever. And, the stories, the pictures that we put out there today generally don't have the same kind of importance that they once had, because we can take a picture of anything, right, and put it out there, and it has both pluses and minuses. But the storytelling is where the strength is. So if you put a picture of your breakfast on Facebook, tell a story about it, and it's going to be much more memorable. And who knows, it might make the family archives. And, the same can be said of friend groups. If you have friend groups who've been together forever, they've got this history established, and you've got a new friend coming into the group, think about some stories that, you can recount that has them welcomed into the group as well. And, and then quickly start to make your own memories moving forward, with the entire group. And these sorts of things just, become part of the lore, right? Part of the folklore, part of the history of the group, part of the fun tales recounted. And you know, at the end of the day, those fuzzy warm feelings, the joy, the laughter, you know, even when it's experienced through hardship and heartache, the stories, that's what remains. And that's my musing for the day. Have a great one, everyone.